9.687, and here's the last up.
Karpenko on the bars.
One of the few gymnasts who can actually boast beaten the great Kokina on this apparatus. He's done that on 2 occasions on this year's Grand Prix series. So it's a good performance to finish your team effort with. Absolutely dead straight. Beautiful shape she creates with a double straight, just a little skip backwards, but the work, incredible. Example of this girl's excellent swinging on the apparatus. Lovely body form throughout. The releases, successful. And the transfer, impressive. And the dismount, spectacular.
I think Ukraine would have closed up a bit on Spain.
And certainly that's the score to be dropped, which means that they have to take the 9.187.
The Spaniards given them by Garcia at the opening. And I think the Spaniards are going to start from 9.6, assuming that the last mark is the best.
Which it surely should be. But here are the Romanians and the Americans
entering the fray, and we will now have a gymnast on each piece of apparatus.
And Victoria Karpenko achieved 9.737, which is the best score to date. There she is. Not a flicker.
That's certainly a fine bar routine. There's Amanara going through. She's a survivor
from last time. Spanish now come to the floor. Ukraine will be on the beam. The United States start on the vault.
On vault, gymnasts representing United States of America.
And you can hear
support is here in some numbers, not quite what it was at Atlanta when it was bedlam from the start.
The Romanians start on the asymmetric bars. Did create a cracking atmosphere in Atlanta, but
there were some people who thought that the crowd were totally unaware of it.
Other than Americans, but as that's what television tends to show in the United States, what Americans are doing, they may well have had a point. They may well have had a point.
Ladies and gentlemen, some information about the vault. This apparatus demonstrates the gymnasts.
And Ukraine did close the gap. It was 1.338 between themselves and the Spaniards
in the end of the first
rotation, but now it's down to 0.794.
The arrival on the vaulting board in preparation for hand contact on the vaulting horse can be either from a forward run or one
the quintet from Romania chosen for this piece of apparatus.
Each vault has a value according to a difficulty table from 8
And the Americans starting the team final where they ended it in Atlanta in rather dramatic fashion. Although when everybody checked around, it was confirmed that little Kerry Strug, you remember,
landed very awkwardly and at the end
was carried out of the arena and carried to the awards ceremony by Bella Caroli, the chief coach of the team.
Didn't actually need to complete a second vault. The score of the gymnasts who had vaulted would have been enough. Try telling that to people who
thought otherwise in America. Doing the housework, absolutely important.
Yeah, the gymnasts spray the water onto the bars just to stop them drying out too much, and each gymnast has to have the bars exactly as they like it. A little bit of water, a little bit of chalk. Some use handguards, some don't.
there was a bit of hustle and bustle about the United States team. Amy Chow.
He went very well into the closing stages of the qualifying competition. Interesting to see whether she goes round in full style on all four pieces. Romanians have won the title once, but that was in 1984 when they beat the
United States in Los Angeles.
But if you remember, there was the tit-for-tat boycott. The Americans didn't go to Moscow, and the Soviet Union didn't come to America.
Gymnasts that complete warm-up, please commence competition.
Jamie Dancher, the cry of the USA. Certainly the atmosphere has changed with the arrival of the Americans.
Her first vault.
Plenty of power. Good vault. They look ready. They look ready for this competition. And she attacked it in that spirit. Super contact. Half turn in the air. Known as a Phelps, this vault. Half turn into a straight front somersault. Such attack, such determination.
Dancher, 18, from California.
And a good start, 9.4.
4.62. Following the men's.
Picking the landings. Chow and Dawes look on, but silently.
One and a half twists to the somersault phase. Tongue in cheek, but I'm sure she's pleased. Yurchenko, to backflip onto the horse. One and a half twists in the somersault off. That's good vaulting.
Not the fastest on the runway, but
Really controlled opening performance.
the early form of the United States looks good. What about Romania? Loredana Bobok.
Now, they haven't had a good season on the asymmetric bars, the Romanians. I think if they can complete this first round well, they'll be going confidently. And this is certainly very efficient pirouetting. Good catch of high above the bar. Not quite hitting the handstand there. And a little pause, but generally legs locked together. Good shapes. Tiny bit early, but kicked out very well for the half turn.
In the qualifying
Competition, they were only 8th on this piece of apparatus.
Yes, a couple of falls, and when I looked up, I don't think they've qualified anyone on A bars finals, so that said it all.
9.424
is the American starting point, given them by Jamie Dancher.